Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Steven. You're watching the Fowler Airgun channel, guys, and today we're going to do a quick video on what I've done with my little Umarex Fusion 2. This is a CO2 multi-shot airgun here, and obviously it is nothing like the Umarex Fusion 2 that you would see if you were to go purchase one yourself. Number one, I've gotten rid of this big bulky moderator suppressor that came on the end of it here. These are just my personal choices here, guys. This isn't for everybody. This is just what I like to do. It's still relatively quiet, so it doesn't bother me at all. I got rid of the big bulky silencer on the end of it. I didn't like the design of it. I immediately, when I saw this rifle, wanted to purchase it because it's polymer. It's a rifle platform. It's CO2. It's pretty tactical. It's kind of awesome. I like it's got the Picatinny rail and stuff on top. Anyhow, I purchased this because I already had some ideas for it. And, well, as you can see, I've already completed part of my idea anyways. So what I want to do is convert this over to PCP, but super cool, guys. The also extra cool thing about this is that I can take this tank right out and drop my 12 gram dual CO2 capsule right back in there and still shoot, guys, and I'm going to show you that right here on this video. So anyways, what I've done is I've taken one of these 88 gram cartridges here, and I've machined it, tapped it, and put myself a gauge in the front here, a little manometer, and our fill probe right here, just that good old 1/8 quick disconnect here. No fill probe or anything, obviously. And again, I can just take this right on out. The only thing I have to do is remove the 2 screws for the barrel. Barrel comes right off, and that does allow me to be able to twist this off. What I'm going to do next, I have another cartridge. I'm going to do the exact same thing, except I'm going to move the manometer down here in the bottom of the CO2 cartridge here, because the stock just comes off lovely. Just one little machined screw right here, it comes off. So I'll be able to just cut a small bit out of the plastic out of the stock, have my manometer down here in the bottom, and I believe I'm still going to keep the fill probe up here, except I'm going to move it so the location of it is just right here, facing straight down, just to make things a little bit more discreet and tucked away. Plus, I like the idea of the manometer being you know, kind of tucked away there into the stock, as compared to, you know, having to do this number here to check my fill pressure. Anyways, so I have been shooting this right at 1900 psi. I have filled it up to 2300 psi, just check for safety, let it sit for 24 hours and everything. So I haven't gone above that. I'm not going to whatsoever, but comfortably shooting at 1900 psi, filled up in this thing, no issues whatsoever. I got a little 3x9 scope here mounted. I have no idea what kind of optic this is. This was actually sent to me as a gift, and it has really nice turrets and adjustments on it. It's probably a no brand of some kind, but the glass is really great in it. Been surprised with it. Anyways, so here it is. This is my Umarex Fusion 2 here, and aside from that, I haven't done anything with the stock. So here's what I've done. Removed all this, took the valve out. I machined the port going from the actual valve to the barrel just slightly. I have the numbers. I'll have to post them up somewhere in the comments below. So I machined that just a little bit to open that up. Everything else is all left stock, minus the spring. I did make some adjustments on some hammer spring adjustments here, so we got a little bit more weight on the hammer spring, but it's such a short drive bolt here. The action is so short that it's really kind of minimizes the amount of spring play that you can go with there, that you can work with, and aside from extending that, which I'm not going to do. The whole idea behind this rifle, why I purchased this, because this, well, it cost me, I think it was $115 after shipping and everything. So $115, I got this. It is still CO2 capable, which means that if I ever have any issues and for some reason I can't find bulk air, well, then I can hopefully find some CO2 capsulettes and drop those in. So anyways, and if I can't find CO2 capsulettes, well, I got myself covered here, guys, with PCP. We got a little pre-charged pneumatic action going on. So anyways, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shoot you some chronograph numbers, because originally I bought this, and before I went to modifying it and doing all my stuff and putting my flare on it, I was going to just do the review on the rifle just as it was, but I'll tell you guys just 100% my review right here on it. So I got it factory, It was refurbished. The reason why I purchased it refurbished is because I did a little bit of research and found a lot of people were having issues with the seals blowing on these things. So I said, well, if I get one that's already had the seal blown, it's been replaced, I know for sure they've had the issue. Maybe there's something going on in there. Maybe there was something they deburred. Maybe it was just a simple as switching up to a different size or a different material in a seal, something simple like that. Heck, for all I know, they could just be throwing the exact same seal back in there and sending it right back out. I don't know. But anyways, I got it refurbished because I wanted already kind of, in working condition anyhow. It shot terribly for me. I shot all kinds of ammunition out of this thing, just about everything. I tell you, it did shoot FX 10.3 grain pellets the best. Now, be in mind, I was speaking to somebody else, one of my followers, about this. I was shooting this thing out to 40 yards right away, so a bit farther than you'd probably shoot a CO2 rifle. But I look at 40 yards from where I'm standing out here at 40 yards, and that's a pretty good distance for me. If you can't really shoot a little target, a can or something out there at that distance, then it's really not that fun. So the FX 10.3 grain pellets were shooting really well at us, but they were only moving at like 530 feet per second, somewhere around there, I believe. So real slow, not a lot of energy, and it just, it still wasn't very accurate. So I just wanted those velocities bump it up a little bit, and I've done that, guys. And that's what's really awesome about this. Actually, once I've done my just slight modifications to this, it's gonna blow your mind what I've got going on this. Now, be in mind, I'm not filling this thing all the way up because I'm sure this small steel 88 gram canister could hold a bit more than the 1900 psi that I'm pumping to. But for safety reasons, I'm not going to do that. Even though I have a burst box, I have a steel box I put all my canisters into and check them. I fill everything up generally a little bit above max PSI and allow it to sit for 24 hours so I can kind of check, assess any damage, cracking, or anything to sort. So for safety reasons, I'm not going to go any higher, also because a lot of that pressure is traveling through nothing but just straight plastic block here, which is not really so much my concern because it's very shortly traveled through the plastic. It goes pretty much right to the barrel. However, the transfer port, as most people refer to it, the area of transfer is polymer, and I don't know how much that's going to hold. I don't know how well the molding is on this plastic and what have you. So anyways, that's just kind of where I've stopped at it. But so 1900 psi is where I'm going to have this thing filled up today. I'm going to shoot you a couple groups. We're going to do some velocity. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of sunshine that'll stay with us because it has been right cool the past few days up here. But we're going to go ahead and shoot some groups real quick. First thing I'm going to do though is run you some chronograph numbers, guys. So let's check those out first. All right, guys, here we are. We are right at 1900 psi, like I said. And we are going to be shooting the Barracuda green. And these are a 6.64 grain. Here are these really shiny, almost aluminum looking pellets here. These are lead free. This is just to give us kind of an idea of a little bit of a maximum velocity. So everybody jumps for joy when they see that max velocity rating from the manufacturers. Well, we'll give you a little bit of a test here. So here we go. First shot, 928, 944, and this is not regulated, 937, so it's going to have a curve to it. 934, 944, 934, 931, 943, 932. I believe that was the end of the first magazine. So that's the end of our first magazine. I haven't done a shot count on this. I haven't really shot to see how much. So still got some more testing to do with it, but just to give you an idea, so we're shooting at 1900 psi, and we are somewhere right there at about, oh geez, guys, I don't even want to guess it. We'll say 18.2, somewhere around there, just over 1800 psi. So here's what I'll do. I'll even load us up another set here of these Barracuda green, and we'll just go ahead real quick just to see what kind of velocities we're actually going to get out of this thing. off of just the second magazine, because truthfully I have no idea. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play around with this. My wife and I are in the process of buying a home, so if anybody is out there and they're trying to buy a home right now with the way the market is, well, you might understand why I've been a little vacant here from my channel too. Then it's been a lot of work just in that in itself. So anyways, here we are again, right at about 1800 psi, and again with the Barracuda green, 932 finishing off, 924, 922, 922, 913, 910, 910, 902, 897, 895. I believe that was the end of that magazine there, guys. All right, so that is with our Barracuda green lead-free pellets. So that's just giving you an idea of what we're kind of getting for max velocities. Now I'm going to shoot you chronograph numbers of what I have been shooting out of here, what I have shot just so far with my little bit of ammunition testing since I've gotten this thing going. What kind of velocities I'm getting using a .177 caliber JSB Hades 10.3 grain pellet. Let's take a look at that. All right, guys, so here we are again, right at 1900 psi. Just top it back off for you, and we're shooting the JSB. These are the Hades 10.34 grain pellet here, and fresh magazine loaded here. Maybe some of you can or cannot see that weird little pattern they stamp into the front of them. Anyhow, so we're gonna run you some numbers here just so you can see what kind of velocities we were getting with the Hades. 803, 796, 805, 805, 804, 807, 808, 809, 809. There's our first magazine. Actually, here I'll do you the same honors of load us another magazine right here while we have it. So these 10.3 grain pellets moving at 800 feet per second are making a much better energy than what I would, you know, expect to be able to get out of this rifle, number one. And number two, then really I feel like that's plenty of energy for small game pesting, and definitely some mid-range being, you know, 40 yards or so, 30-40 yards plinking and such. So anyways, let's go back to it again. Same feel. What have I done? Something's not lining up here. Uh-oh. This is the first time this is happening to me, guys, so bear with me on this one. Well, that's not good. There's no telling how many we just lost there. All right, let's try this again. 799, 799, 792, 790, 786, 779, 778. All right, I believe that's the end of it. So I think we ended up losing two of them there. Anyhow. Oh, and field pressure. So after two magazines, we are still right at 1500, Actually, we're right over. We're probably a little bit closer toward, well, yeah, we're probably right about 1500 psi. So yeah, let's shoot us some groups real quick so you can see what it's doing downrange. And yeah, let's shoot us some groups. All right, guys, I'm gonna bring you down here, take a quick look at the target. Freshly painted this morning. It's not the prettiest paint job, but we're not Michelangelo over here. This is where we're gonna be aiming for right here. Get you a clean look at that so you can make sure that we're not doing any kind of cheating or trying to pull the wool over your eyes or anything. Anyways, that's 40 yards, guys. Right out there is where we're shooting at. So 40 yards, shooting here. I'm walking you down so that you can see it for yourself. And I have in here at 1900 psi our Umarex Fusion. Good old trusty shooting box here. And I'm going to set you all right here on this tripod where you can stare at the back of my ugly head while I shoot this group for you here. All right. And to make things a little cooler, so 40 yards out there, and I'm gonna load this right up here right now. I'm not doing any pellet selecting, or as long as the skirts aren't really boogered up bad, I'll generally try to shoot them, because my whole train of thought is generally, if a manufacturer who's producing pellets and you can't at least grab a random pellet out, minus the fact that the skirt may or may not be damaged, but if the skirts aren't damaged and they're pretty uniform, you should be able to just grab you one right out and get to shooting and be fairly accurate, if it's a fairly accurate projectile. All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna go for the first shot. Take these off and we're ready to go. Now, I am not sighted in with this. This is just purely to show you a group here with these JSB Hades. Now, I know that the FX 10.3 pellets fly much better than this. And actually, they're trying to fly a little wompy on me right now, but the FX 10.3 grain pellets tend to fly much better. So, oh, I believe we still got another one in here. All right. Keep in mind now, this is just prototype nonsense here. This is just what I like to do in my spare time, and come up here and do my shooting. Now, I know I have not been posting a lot of content here recently, and that is because I have been extraordinarily busy here recently. There's just a million things happening, guys. You know how life gets in the way sometimes. Anyways, I'm still bringing you out here with me so that I can show you what I am doing out here and what little bit of spare time I got right now. It's Sunday, it's beautiful, and the kids are out with grandma, so we're gonna shoot. Anyways, keep in mind, this is with very little pellet testing whatsoever, and we're at 40 yards. Now, I know it's not the greatest group, guys, okay? And we're still looking at, let's see, our farthest one hit over here, which I'm not sure why that thing went flying, and that was actually our very first shot there, far to the right. So we had two that really just wanted to fly off, but overall together, we kept most of them right here. And I believe these are what, 9-shot magazines. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got like 2 here. I don't know, guys. We're looking at like 3-inch group. All together over here, you're looking at maybe 4 and a piece. So I can clean that up a lot. I know I can. I've had to recrown the barrel because it was terrible. Anyways, this is what I'm just out here messing around with and doing. I wanted to bring you out here with me because I wanted to show you I am still out here shooting and still having a good time. And it is all about getting information out there to you. If you guys have questions or comments or anything about how it is or what it is I'm doing with this, leave them below. Anything about specifics, breaking out the calipers and me giving you some measurements on things like I specifically spoke about earlier, about opening the transfer port a little bit, and well, not transfer port, but opening up the valve port, and just kind of doing a little bit with this thing. If you guys have any real questions, drop them in the comments below, and I'll do my absolute best to make sure that I can get in there and get as many questions and things as I can answer. I'm trying to get you guys set back up here on this tripod because I hate fiddling with a daggone camera all the time. Anyhow, that's it, guys. Just out here shooting around with the old Umarex Fusion. Now this is the other thing about it, why I got this rifle as well. I don't know what the weight is exactly on this thing, but here's scoped and everything. I mean, this can't be more than 6 pounds. I wouldn't even think it's 6 pounds, being honest with you guys. It's on the slim side for sure, and that's also why I wanted it. It has non-ambidextrous safety, which is okay with me. It's not a huge deal, but I kind of like that it's that little flipper. However, it's not great. I don't really tend to use my safety unless I'm actually loaded out sitting somewhere and I'm sitting up for a little bit, but generally it's off. But that, you can hear how crisp and loud that is, and it's kind of like, even when you really see, that's as quiet as I could possibly get it without making much noise, and it still makes a good bit of noise. So it'll scare critters away and stuff if you're out trying to shoot with it in the woods and you got your safety and you're like, hey, I'm gonna shoot that guy. That'll probably be the end of him. He'll probably hear that and take off on you anyways. Overall though, the rifle is kind of cool. It is very lightweight. It's got a solid stock too. That's the other thing. Like the Air Venturi Avenger and stuff, and a couple other polymer stocked guns that I picked up. Sometimes they tend to be hollow. I'm not sure what they've done here, but that's pretty solid construction. It's not heavy. When I took this moderator off the end here, which this is pretty much the same size of the moderator that was actually on. Actually, it was a little bit longer, so shortened it a little bit by probably, you know, probably like 2.5, 3 inches, I believe. But the moderator was just so big, and there was so much plastic in that thing, and really taking it out and looking at the meat and potatoes of it, the baffles that were inside of there, they were just, you know, some pretty simple plastic formed baffles, cone style, nothing real extravagant. And there, I believe, were only about 4 of them in there, so, you know, pretty standard to just about any silencer out there right about. But the plastic itself on the moderator, you know, that weird triangle shaped moderator that this gun normally comes with, it was so thick, and it was so much weight in plastic. I mean, we're talking several ounces of plastic getting up there. A lot. It was a lot of plastic. Thick, real thick, several mils thick. So anyways, I had to do away with that, and pretty much just been kind of toying around with it, out shooting it a bunch, and well, not a whole bunch, but, you know, I guess to some people it'd be considered a bunch. Alright guys, so check it out. I just went inside just to loosen these 2 top set screws here for the barrel, and I'll just show you very simply. Nice and easy, work it out. As to not destroy any of my O-rings here that seal the barrel, which this barrel has a very nice design. I will give them this. So for the air, you actually have 3 different ports there for your air traveling. So essentially you just get your seal between these 2 O-rings here, and everything has good free flow through here. So no adjustments needed whatsoever, in my opinion, at that point. And then you simply just probe your pellet, goes right in. So you're looking at a very short barrel. That is the actual end of the barrel there, guys. So I mean, you're looking at that's probably a 16-inch barrel, somewhere right around there, maybe 15 inches right at that. So anyways, all you would do in this situation here is drop your barrel out, and then we got to get rid of this. Now this still is aired up, but the good thing about this setup is that the way this seals is that it seals around the CO2 tank at the very tip of the mouth of the cartridge. So there's a small area where you can just let this loose and just leave it there, and it'll bleed off all the air. You see it dropping there nice and quickly. And I know that this bottle is ugly. I kind of was just playing around with it, painting it and then bluing it a little bit and just making it as ugly as I possibly could. But anyways, again, this is all just prototype stuff, so no need to worry about that anyhow. So then, just as simple as that, you drop that out here and then take your 12-gram dual cartridge tank, and it would just be as normal. Drop your cartridges right down in. One goes down, one goes up. Get that to seat on there nicely. Make sure that piercing screw is set out all the way so that we don't worry about popping this thing early. Alright, so now we're just gonna, just as simple as that, just like it was before. And it will still fire or something, I believe. And there you have it. So anyways, I'll have to find out what it was exactly that fell out. I believe it was probably one of those little O-rings I placed in there. Anyhow, guys, that's just to kind of show you what I'm messing around with over here. Just out here having a little bit of fun, doing things different. Just always trying to find some kind of project that can grab my attention, that maybe can grab your attention. Something when you can find something for $100 and you can convert it over to a pre-charged pneumatic, which is, in my opinion, the way to go when it comes to shooting air guns. Now, everything has an application, everything. So, you know, you may find, hey, I really enjoy shooting the CO2 version of it. Hey, that's great. You're going to get a much higher shot count, and you know, it may be just a little more suitable for others. This is a very small tank here. So if this was some type of deal that you wanted to do here yourself, which I would probably advise that if you're not a machinist or somebody that knows something about a little bit of safety, then probably do not, because this can be extremely dangerous. Anyhow, with that being said, it's extremely fun as well. And just a quick cartridge here out of a steel 88-gram CO2 cartridge here. So I was super happy with the project. Again, I've still got some bugs that I'm working out in it with the accuracy and getting through some sorting out some pellets through it, which I haven't had a chance to do really. I've shot in a couple things, but most of it was pre-conversion, and it was really terrible. And it could be because of velocities, but I believe it was specifically because of this barrel here. It's just not the greatest barrel. It had really bad crowning on it. I mean, terrible. On that note, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Leave a comment below if you guys got any questions and things like that. And as always, we'll see you next time.